everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Charlotte if you're new here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do this makeup that I have on my face right now. This is a nice little Valentine's look. Pink is my favorite color, so I always get really excited for Valentine's themed makeup. This is a pretty simple look with just some pink through the crease and a nice soft smoky winged liner. I thought that this would be a good look for really any activity on Valentine's Day. You could wear this out to dinner if restaurants are open where you are and you're going on a date or something, or you could just wear this to sit at home and drink some wine with your friends or by yourself, whatever's more your speed. You can wear this to take some selfies, to lure someone in so that maybe you have a date for next year's Valentine's Day, whatever you want. I'm gonna be giving you guys a full tutorial for the eye makeup and then walking you through what I did for the rest of the face, and I'm gonna jump right into it. I hope you guys enjoy. Okay, so I already have my foundation and my eyebrows and my contouring done. Just because this is specifically an eye makeup tutorial, I just wanted to save some time, but I am gonna talk you guys through what I'm wearing on my face just in case you're interested. So for foundation, I'm wearing the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Foundation, and I have it in the shade Light 7. And then for concealer, I'm wearing the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. This is my favorite one ever. I have this in the shade Vanilla. And then I set everything in place with my Shiseido Synchro Skin Invisible Silk Loose Powder. This powder is incredible. And then for my bronzing and contouring, I used the Essence Sun Club Matte Bronzer. This is my favorite matte bronzer. And then on top of that, I just went in with a little bit of the Dior Backstage Contour Palette. I just used the two shimmery shades, mixed them together, and I sort of just have that like around the perimeter of my face. As always, for my eyebrows, I used the MAC Eyebrow Styler in the shade Stylized. So now without further ado, we're gonna jump right into the eye makeup. So I'm gonna be doing this whole look just using two palettes, the James Charles Morphe palette and this little e.l.f. quad palette. I wanted to stick with some stuff that I thought would be like pretty easily accessible to a lot of people. These are both pretty affordable. Obviously the e.l.f. is super affordable. The James Charles one isn't too bad either, especially for like the value you get for how big it is. So I'm gonna use these two palettes for the whole look, just in case you're following along and want to use the same palettes. So now I'm gonna zoom you guys in so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. Okay, now we're nice and up close and personal. So I'm gonna do one eye on camera for you guys, and then I'm gonna do the other one off camera just to save some time. So to start things off, I have already primed my eye with my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. I blended it out with a beauty blender and I just set it with some translucent powder. So my eyes are all ready to go. So the first shadow that I'm gonna be going in with is out of this little e.l.f. quad. I'm gonna be using this pink, and I'm gonna be using a Morphe M518 brush, which is my favorite fluffy crease blending brush. So I'm gonna dip into the shade and I'm just gonna work this right through my crease. And I'm gonna softly blend this up towards my eyebrow. I do find for the price, these e.l.f. eyeshadows have a pretty great amount of pigment. I'm also gonna bring a little bit of the shade down into my outer corner, just kind of covering pretty much the whole lid with this except for the inner part right here. So you'll wanna keep blending that out until it's looking something like this. And then from there, I'm gonna grab that same little palette again, and I'm gonna be taking this darker purpley shade, and we're just gonna blend a little bit of this into the outer corner and through the crease as well. So I'm just taking a little bit of that one on that same Morphe M518 brush. And we're gonna take it right into the outer half of the crease. Just like that. And then I'm just packing a little more of that into the outer half of the eyelid. Okay, and then with those two shades blended in, your eye should be looking something like this. For the next shade, I'm gonna be grabbing the Morphe James Charles palette, opening it up. Literally too big to fit on camera, but I'm going to be using the shade in the top left corner. So it's sort of like a light beige shade. I'm gonna be taking that shade on a flat brush. This is a MAC 239, I believe, but the number is kind of rubbed off. I'm gonna pack that onto my brush, and then I'm going to put this all over my lid as our lid shade. And this isn't a cut crease or anything, so it doesn't have to be super crisp, but it's just gonna brighten up that inner half of your eye. We are gonna blend this into the crease, so it's okay if it's not super neat and tidy. And then we're gonna grab the Morphe M518 again from before, and we're just gonna blend the edge into the crease. And there we go. So far, as you can see, super, super simple. If you like really quick and easy makeup, you could totally leave this here, but I'm gonna be adding a smoky winged liner, which is gonna make this a little bit more sultry and nighttime, but we also still wanna keep this soft and pretty. So I'm gonna be doing all of the eyeliner with eyeshadow, which is just gonna give less of a crisp, harsh look than using like a liquid liner would. So the first thing I'm gonna do for the liner is I'm gonna grab a flat top liner brush. This one is from Makeup Forever, and I'm gonna just dip into the black eyeshadow in the James Charles palette, which is this big one right here. And I'm just gonna do a simple buried lash line along my lashes to start things off. So when you're doing a buried lash line, you wanna be getting the shadow as close to your lash line as possible, if not like literally buried into it. That's the point. That's why it's called a buried lash line. Okay, now that we've got that buried lash line on there, I'm going to be smoking this out a little bit before we do the wing. And I'm going to be using a brown for that. You could definitely stick to black if you want to keep this really dark, but I still want to keep it like a little bit softer and lighter. So I'm going to be using this super dark chocolate brown that's just above the black in the James Charles palette. And I'm switching to a Morphe B16 brush. This is a really, really tiny like smudging brush. I'm going to dip into the brown, and then I'm just going to sort of start running this along the outer half of my lash line just to sort of mix with the black and smoke everything out a little bit. This step can be a little bit of a slow process. You'll need to go back and forth a few times from the brown shadow to the black. Okay, and then when you're happy with how smoky it is, we're gonna move on to winging it out. So for the wing, I like to use an angled liner brush. This one is the Sephora brand. It's actually called the Brow Filler. So I'm dipping into that same brown shade in the James Charles palette that we just used, and now I'm just gonna very carefully wing this out with my angled liner brush. So you want the wing to follow basically your lower lash line, almost as like a continuation of your lower lash line. Just about there. And then you're just gonna drag it into the rest. So it should look something like that. A little messy, but we're gonna fix it. And you're just gonna keep darkening that up. Now I'm gonna take my Morphe brush from before and just blend this into the rest of the lash line. And at this point it will still look messy, but you've gotta trust the process here. Once you've blended that out, it's still not gonna look perfect, but when you've got it to a point where you're happy with it, we're gonna move on to the lower lash line. I'm gonna start off using that same Morphe brush that I've been using, and I'm gonna dip in again to the dark brown, and we're just gonna bring that down underneath the eye as well, just on the outer half. And we're gonna blend this into the wing as well, just in the very outer corner. Just a tiny bit. So once you're happy with your wing, you're gonna take another flat top liner brush. This is a Morphe M432, and we're gonna take a tiny bit of concealer, dab it on the back of your hand, and we're just gonna sharpen up the wing now. Because when you're doing a wing with eyeshadow, unless you have a super, super tiny precise brush, it's hard to make it really exact. It's easier to just kind of clean it up afterwards, I find. We're just gonna dab this along the bottom of our wing. You just want to use like the tiniest bit of product or you'll disturb your makeup that's underneath. And then you want to take a clean finger and you're just going to gently pull upwards. And just pulling that gently upwards will give you that nicely faded little smoky wing. Okay, and then one last thing I'm gonna do is I like to just pop a shimmery white shade just in my inner corner. So I'm gonna use this one from my Dior Backstage face palette, just a tiny bit on a pointy brush. This is a Makeup Forever one, right in the inner corner and the inner half of the lower lash line. So now I'm gonna go do my other eye off camera and I'm gonna pop on some mascara and lashes and I'll be back for some finishing touches. Okay everybody, I'm back with the completed eye look. I just threw on some Ardell Wispies lashes as well, which are my favorite like natural lashes. So now to finish off the look, I'm just gonna be doing some blush and some highlight and a lip. For blush, I'm gonna be using MAC Warm Soul Mineralized Blush. This is a really pretty like soft pink. And I'm just gonna use this little BH Cosmetics brush that I've literally had forever. I'm gonna go in pretty heavy with the blush because we love a nice pink glow for Valentine's Day. You could also throw some on the nose. I'm really not a blush on the nose girl. I don't like the trend, I'm not a fan of it, but load it up if you want, but I'm not going to. And then for highlight, I'm gonna be using MAC Soft and Gentle. This is a classic. I'm gonna use that same brush and I'm just gonna do a really light layer of this all along my cheekbone. And then using my finger, I'm gonna put a little bit on my Cupid's bow. Okay, and for lips, you could absolutely do a red lip if you're into that. I personally just prefer a nude lip on myself, especially lately with wearing a mask and stuff. Like if you're gonna have a mask on over your makeup, I really think red lipstick could get super, super messy. So I would suggest sticking with nude. So first I'm gonna line my lips with the Essence Soft Contouring Lip Liner. This is shade 07 Lost in Love. for my lipstick, I'm going to be using Estee Lauder Vanilla Truffle. This is my favorite nude, or one of my favorite nudes. I've got quite a few. All over. There we go. I am going to finish this off with some clear lip gloss. This is just a random one. I'm just going to put this on with my finger. And there you have it, guys. This is my finished Valentine's makeup look. I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. This would be perfect if you're going to a restaurant or doing something cute and romantic, or even just hanging out at home with your friends. Just a little something to feel pretty, maybe take a nice selfie to put on Instagram, thirst trap to lure someone in if that's what you're trying to do. So yeah, I hope you guys like this look. Make sure to give it a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos. Leave me a comment if you have any video suggestions for what you want to see next. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say for today. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.